A lot of changes had to be made in the past few months as the country tackles the COVID-19 pandemic, but the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information rose to the challenge.
Through countless consultations and meetings, we have developed a response to the COVID-19 crisis that we believe will be in the best interest of our students. In early March, the ministry drafted and shared with schools an emergency in education plan, which, among other things, called for collaboration with school administrators through our regional offices to organize training for teachers to help with remote teaching and learning through the use of internet platforms, something we had never contemplated having to do to the scale and size that we have had to do.
The ministry also ensured that printed material were distributed where access to internet service was limited or non-existent. Partnerships were established with internet service providers for lower data fees or zero-rated data to allow for greater access. The ministry engaged with numerous partners in producing material for radio and television educational broadcasts and is currently working with other private providers of educational material for the development of online sessions. As the ministry looks towards the new school year, which begins in September, preparations are being made to safeguard students and staff against COVID-19. For some institutions, additional spaces are being identified to allow for continued social distancing.
We have been in dialogue with a number of churches to use their halls and other available spaces, and we want to thank our church leaders for responding to this national need, and they have responded admirably. Across the 7 regions, more than 52 churches so far have made their halls available at request. We are negotiating with others.
The minister says 30% of schools currently function under capacity and can therefore operate with the existing spaces they have, while others have opted to use tents. In the meantime, schools are developing their individual plans for reopening in accordance with the guidelines stipulated by the ministry.
Staff will be deployed to clean and sanitize school buildings, classrooms, and other facilities prior to the resumption of school, and according to a daily routine while school is in operation. Staff and students will receive training on the importance of social, physical distances and other precautionary hygiene practices to prevent the spread of this vile virus.
Additionally, all schools will implement a mandatory psychosocial program in the first month. It will be supported by guidance counselors, deans of discipline, school nurses, health and family life teachers, social workers, and education officers.
Psychosocial sessions must also be on the timetable for all students to help them cope with the changes imposed on them as a result of the pandemic.
To further aid preparations for the new academic year, all public education institutions were allotted additional sums of between $500,000 and $1 million. Secondary institutions were provided with $600,000 each to procure furniture, while the ministry is sourcing tables and chairs for primary schools.
This provision is in addition to the regular grants provided to schools in April and June, which amount to over $2.8 billion.
In addition, over $425 million has been allocated to carry out repairs at 156 schools under the 2020-2021 Critical Maintenance Program. The funds are being used for critical repairs to sanitary facilities, termite treatment, and repairs to roofs, electrical and sewage disposal systems, plus other critical matters.
To date, 56 schools have been completed. 8 schools are up to 98% completion. 9 schools are up to 80% completion. 22 schools are up to 50% completion. And 19 schools are up to 20% completion.
More than $567 million will be used to carry out pre-contract activities for 9 expansion projects and electrical upgrading to 8 schools.
It will also be used to construct security fencing, complete the upgrading of the ministry's facility to make outstanding payments for projects carried forward, and to commence work in 3 schools.
In light of COVID-19, the ministry will be adopting a blended educational approach to teaching and learning in the upcoming school year.
The model adopted will allow for all students to benefit from meaningful and appropriate learning experiences. We intend to reach students by providing them with diverse learning opportunities and resources using that mix.
To resolve the digital divide experienced by some students, over 100,000 laptops and tablets are being procured in time for the new school year.
These devices will be distributed on a phased basis beginning in late August. Students on the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH will receive devices.
Additionally, the ministry is partnering with existing providers to procure and fully establish a national learning management system.
This will allow schools to continue to use systems they already have, and for the ministry officers to be able to track and monitor the activities of the system and to obtain data to inform intervention.
He says the National Learning Management System will allow teachers to create, deliver, and manage lessons and other training materials.
Teachers who have comorbidities can use the LMS to deliver their lessons, and children who are homeschooled because of comorbidities can also access the LMS.
School leaders will also be able to use it to set and track assignments, track performance, post video clips, pictures, and animations. They will also be able to generate discussions around those focus areas.
Mr. Speaker, as I close my presentation, I must make special mention of the many stakeholder groups that have worked with us in this last several months as we have faced this unprecedented threat. Thank you for your support. Notwithstanding the challenges, I can confidently say that we are moving in the right direction.